What's going on, people? It is time for Game Time Audible, now known, of course, as Game Time Audible, featuring the sports guru Hugh. In other words, that guy right there, the man with the master plan. He is going to be the one running things. Of course, I'm going to be running the technical boards and whatnot. But in the end, what we talk about tonight in terms of the show is going to be determined by him and commented on by me. You know how we do it. So that being said, I give you the one, the only, the sports guru, Detroit's finest, Hugh Lee. What up, Hugh?
What's going on? E ran into the show with some bad news today. I don't know if you saw it. We was gonna run into baseball. Man, I thought it was someone else, but then I looked and then I'm familiar with this person. I know the last name is gonna be somebody you're familiar with too, man. Condolences to the Giambi family, man. Baby brother Jeremy Giambi passed away today, man.
Man, sorry to hear that one. I'm sure maybe 40 at the most?
47. I just saw it on my page. That's why I went on before we went on air. I said, man, yeah, I just saw that, man. And I'm like, man, I don't know what was going on. And, I'm not going to put anything into it, man. You know how his brother was getting down, man. And we ain't going to even get into all the steroid allegations and stuff. We got that to talk about on the show. But, yeah, man, I just want to give his family and his loved ones to deserve the respect that they deserve. And I just wish his family well and prayers out to the Giambi family.
Does it give any reason for cause of death?
That not at all. They just said he passed away at his family home in Southern California, and they basically said for now they just wanted us to respect their wishes. And when that happens, that means it must have just really happened, and they trying to figure out what was going on. And probably within the next 2 to 3 days or so, we'll find out more information about his death and what happened.
I hear that. And hopefully you guys hear that. Apparently, we got some new options here on the show where you can play a little background music. So that's what you hear in the background there, Hugh. I just found this out seconds ago. So we're going to play it and see how I make the show sound. Why not? Audible was in the Audible itself. How about that?
But
carry on.
We definitely want to talk about what was going on right now, man. Do you think more or less that this is because of the lockdown, or do you think that they're trying to get more ratings when they were saying that they're no longer drug testing the players in the MLB?
I don't even think it's really an issue of the lockdown. You got to remember, we talking drug testing. We talking about a country that's doing COVID tests every day, all day. If anything, they're probably utilizing those people to do COVID tests. That's what I think the issue is with that. But that being said, could you, as a player, be stupid enough to use steroids, knowing that eventually the testing will come back into play? And bottom line, you had 6 home runs, 20 RBIs this year. Now you pop off with 30 and 100. You think they ain't gonna test you like every other day when that get to happening? It'll probably be a few people that will try, because in the end, remember, this is a job. And some people, they on the verge of not having that job no more. So it might be a couple of desperate people that will go there. But for the most part, I don't think most of the league gonna smurf with it.
That's playing with Pandora's box. They need to leave it be, because if they do, it'll be more repercussions than ever, man. They trying to slip them a Mickey right now doing that. That's what I call it in baseball. They slipping them a Mickey. If they get caught up in this, man, it'll be worse repercussions than they need right now. So I don't see that being the case right now. Hey, what's going on, Amy? How you doing?
All right. She's saying who they remember. Amy currently down there in Alabama, but from the state of Ohio. You know how us Michigan people feel about Ohio, but of course, you also know how we in the National Network feel about Amy. So we love Amy. So for that, we say who they back. But beyond that,
she talking about them Bengals, boy. That's what she said. We're gonna creep off on that. So it's actually gonna be after we talk about our baseball, man. As far as the lockdown right now, man, I haven't really heard too much, man. It's like the sides is not getting along together, man. We were talking about the mediator too, man, to try to get everything together. But right now, they ain't getting nothing along right now. Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I knew she was from Ohio, but I didn't know she was from Cincinnati in particular. So
I
yeah,
know for the Mafia, that's what's up because my good friend Jason at the job is from Cincinnati, man, and I was just so happy for him, man, because I told him, man, I was like 8, 9 years old, man. You know, it was that Super Bowl was big to us because we were it was at the Silverdome. That's what made it so big here because it was like in Detroit. So, but yeah, definitely shout outs to Amy, man. You know, I wish y'all well. You know, we definitely gonna get into that shortly too, but I'm just curious, man. I wasn't too happy with that top 100 list, man. I saw that and I was pissed, especially my boy. You know me. I'm not trying to critique it or anything, but what really pissed me off about that list was when I found out my man's Albert Pujols was 30th. That's too far. You got dudes like Mike Trout in the top 5, and I love Mike Trout, man. But let's just hope these injuries don't be issue with him right now, because it's starting to be the case. See, man, the last 2 years he haven't been consistent because we can't blame it on him and his numbers. Because when he healthy, he put the best numbers up. Period. But I just didn't like that list, man. That was like it was like a spit in my face, man, from a baseball fan perspective. I love you too, and we're definitely glad for you. You know, we're gonna get into that, but definitely appreciate you showing your love and support as usual. And at the same time, we're definitely happy for you because yeah, it's been some years for you guys. So wishing you well.
absolutely, Amy. You know we love you, friend Amy. One of our very staunch supporters here in the Nighthawk Network. But back to the question at hand, there was a list that Hugh was referring to, a top 100 list of the top 100 MLBers of all time. There were several questionable people on that list. It basically gave more relevance to people that are either currently playing or
Pretty
recently
much.
retired, as opposed to some of the old school. As an old person that goes back years in baseball, I will first of all say whoever made that list, I need to refer them to the documentary Baseball. You know which one I'm talking about. Basically, where they go back to the very, very beginning of baseball to the current baseball and talk about pretty much every major player of every major era. That's Ken Burns' Baseball. For those who are not familiar, by far the very best baseball documentary I have ever seen. One of the best documentaries, period, I have seen. Several hours long, man, but well worth to watch. That being said, I definitely agree with who was number one on that list. I don't know if you recall who that is, you.
Babe,
Yeah, I mean, bottom line, when all is said and done, if he had chosen to be a pitcher the entire time, he probably would have won a good 400 games or so. The fact that he is not only one of the few people in baseball history that hits for over 300, had over 500 home runs, had over 1,000 RBIs and walks, you name it, he did it. And actually, if there were Gold Gloves at the time, according to account, would have won several of those as well for not only playing in the outfield, but for the little bit of time where he played first base before the great one himself took over at first base. So that being said, yeah, that list is very, very sketchy.
that's back. I was mad as hell to see. I'm like, damn, y'all couldn't even get my boy Albert 10 place. He at least top 10. Damn, y'all said 30. That was dirty, man. I definitely
I
ain't like
say
that.
at the very lowest 15, but 30, no, that was very
Yeah, but
disrespectful.
30 is a spit in the face, and like you said, is a spit in the face of the guys who been watching the game for so long. Because you got to put your Hanks in there, you got to put the Gary. It's like a lot of guys that we've like the older guys, you know. But a lot of the stuff too, I think a lot of the young guys been actually putting their 2 cents on some of the stuff as far as
Right.
when it comes to
And of
that list.
course, I also had a problem with the fact that they didn't pay enough homage to the Negro League players. Josh
Yeah,
Gibson probably should have been in that top 20 as well. I don't even recall if he was even on the list, but the fact that
nope.
that was not represented bothers me as well.
Yeah, man, it was just I just think it was a young kid who just put their 2 cent in on that, man. Whoever did that, I don't think was old enough to really respect the game like that. They got to be in their mid 20s or like mid
I
30s.
definitely say that's somebody that was in a lower mid 30s that made that list.
Yeah, because I definitely thought that was a mockery, man. And I just want to talk about that because I thought it was a disgrace and it was a spit in the face to true baseball fans. I definitely feel like they need to remake that list or have some guys true to the game as far as some of the players, man. That's what they need to do, man. If you think that'd be a good idea, I didn't think about that until we just start talking about the top 100, man. Is to make it like how they do in the NFL, where the peers get involved. I know you shaking your head because you already knew what concept I was coming at. Not even trying to rush into the NFL like that, but then at the same time, I think they do it the correct way because they have all the players and everyone like to judge it, man. Rather than the fans, they focus on them
And it's
as
not just the players that do that list in the NFL. They have coaches input as well,
yeah,
general
they got
managers, all of
coaches
that.
and
So, yeah, I definitely think that would have been a better route to go.
I hope they do that, because they need to do a top 100 baseball every year like that too. I think that'd be great for the sport, man, and put emphasis on the guys and for the dudes that people don't really pay attention to that's out there who's busting their butt, man, and playing hard, man. And I think that'd be something good, man, because it's already bad that they're not really marketing as good as they should. And we watch it because we huge fans, but they just need to market it more, man. And how you marketing basketball? Well, of course, basketball is going to be marketed, but then and again, football and the dudes most times be wearing helmets. These dudes in baseball did not wear helmets unless you
It's
and it's
unfortunate that more people don't check out MLB Network. Every year, MLB Network does like a top 10, as in top 10 catchers in the game right now,
like
top
the
10
position
pitchers.
players, yeah.
I really enjoy when they do that because they really break it down in terms of their play defensively, offensively, what their peers think, what their numbers look like in comparison to other people's numbers. I think those are the types of things you got to take into account when you make these lists for real, for real.
Yeah, and they didn't even put in. I don't even think they even really dissected like the 5 tool players. And that's very important when it comes to baseball. That's something you got to definitely put into something like this. You can't lose. You can't leave nothing like that out, man. And that's why, like you said, MLB Network is so important to me because I look at it, man, and I like when they go into the room and they discuss the hitters, and the hitters show you and tell you what they see when they're getting certain pitches. And this is really cool, man, because you're looking at it from a baseball player perspective. But I just feel like, yeah, man, I want them to get a little bit more advertisement and put a little bit more into it because I feel like that list was rushed. And I didn't feel like they dissected better than what they could have right about this time. And yeah, I hope that they could redo that or get something done to where they do like a top 100 and have the peers, coaches, and the players around them from the present and the past kind of, dissect and talk about what was going on with the players and why they think that the players are the best at the list from the 100 all the way to the first person, that's on that.
One thing I would like for them to bring back, and I think that definitely would bring more interest to the young people in regard to baseball. You being a person of a particular age yourself, I know you remember when every Saturday they did This Week in Baseball, and they profiled some of the better players and some of the better teams in the game at that time. I would really like them to bring that back to network TV somewhere around Saturday morning, 11, 12 o'clock, so the kids could get a little bit more involved in baseball and such. I think that'd be a good idea.
I just want RBI to be back in the neighborhoods too, man, because I went through the neighborhood just recently, man, and then I died a little bit inside, man. I went over to McKenzie Field and looked around a couple of fields that when I used to play Pal League, man. A lot of them fields don't even have no baseball triangle no more, man. They just covered it up now. Most of it just all grass now, and they just do the fields, man, and the part that used to be the baseball field is kind of stacked a little higher than what all the other stuff is when they be practicing on the football fields. And man, that hurt me. I said, man, it's not a diamond or anything for the kids anymore. We used to at least have 4 diamonds. We had 2 like over by the fields, and there was 2 over on the opposite end, and they even had some where they got the new McKenzie K-8. They had some baseball diamonds over there too. None of that stuff there now. It's all grass and field, man. So yeah, I just feel like bringing it back to the inner city too, man, and getting the kids interested because most of them want to be basketball and football players, man. But baseball is where all the money's at right now, man. They got that long money city. So I'm just hoping that more kids get more interested in it, man, and get more African American athletes, who play baseball and who can appreciate the game.
I agree. Like I said, at one point in time, I lived in Ypsilanti. Another point in time, I worked in Taylor. Some of the better little league fields in the country are located in those two particular areas. In fact, the field I'm speaking of in general, I live like right across the way from in one of my apartments in Ypsilanti. And we used to go
Mhm.
up there and play baseball. It was like very well kept. Basically, us as grown folks, we work out the wiffle ball, batting the wiffle ball, and we had a great time, even as adults playing on that field. So I imagine if they had that available to kids to play, I see they revamping a lot of the parks around here in Detroit, but they're pretty
Uh-huh.
much putting up basketball courts. How about putting up
Absolutely.
baseball fields out here too? I agree with
Get
you.
the diamonds back up, y'all.
Exactly.
'Cause, I regret not playing the game, man. At one point it was a guy who was coming up there all the time and he was teaching me how to play. And I was a kid. I wish I would have stuck with it because he started to teach me how to hit, on both sides of the diamond, man. And I thought that was pretty cool, man. But then I gave it up, man. It was like all of us, no matter how big and tall we was, man, or wherever, we all thought we were basketball stars, man. And I definitely wish I would have stayed true to baseball even if it didn't get me anywhere. But then it's the respect of the game, man. I don't think people respect the game like they should, man. But definitely appreciated the time I did. But just hope that they could get more of that emphasized back in the city too, man. Get more black athletes who's more involved in the sport because we
I mean,
losing a lot of
I
lives.
think another thing that would help if we had more local places that had the batting cages and things around here.
Man,
Kids just
even
go and just
nowhere
have that
near here.
experience. Because
What the
Lord
closest
knows,
batting
every
cage
year,
you got?
every year I talk about we need to go to the batting cage one day. I talk about that pretty much every year, and we don't never manage to go. Well, you know why we ain't went the last couple of years, but in
Yeah.
general, it's good exercise. It helps you get out some frustrations, and like I said, I think if there were those places available here in the city, people would definitely utilize them.
Where's the closest batting cage, E? I'm curious.
Over there in Allen Park, right across from where you work at.
Straight up? Yeah, we're gonna have to hit that bug someday.
Exactly. Because
I'm
remember,
interested.
one of my goals is to get some of this weight off and actually join one of them over 50 softball leagues.
Yeah,
So,
because one of my boys in one of those leagues, Walter, and he's a beast.
because
That
keep in
sounds like
mind,
that.
I actually can hit from both sides. So, something we talk about. But yeah, let's move on. We'll be all day on that.
We're gonna jump on the Super Bowl, man, and our predictions. We're gonna get that out the way right quick, man, because it ain't gonna really be about football, man. We want to talk about it and get the discussion, so we got a lot more stuff to talk about, especially on the NBA trade deadline. But I definitely wanted to talk about your Super Bowl predictions and who you have between LA Rams, Los Angeles Rams. Plus, I know all the people know here that you welcome Pastor Tillman. that my man's Matthew Stafford went over there, man, and that's all we was waiting for was a good team and them to build around him on both sides of the ball, and he finally got that, and they went all out when they end up getting him because then they end up getting, Matthew Stafford. They got Von Miller and Odell Beckham Jr. over there to try to help them win another one because it's funny because they already had a Super Bowl, but at the time they wasn't named the Los Angeles Rams. It was the St. Louis Rams. But I think this would be officially one of the first LA Super Bowls if they can win. And I think that that's pretty big, man, because Matthew Stafford, man, he made a comment recently that he doing this for all the players and all the fans who believed in him in Detroit, this Super Bowl.
Exactly. Well, everything being said, of course, I'm going with the Rams. Most of the money also going with the Rams. It makes sense. They have the more veteran-laden team. They have all those people that they paid all that money just to get them to this point. So you would like to think that they will be hungry enough to say, okay, we here now. Let's make the dream happen. Let's get this ring. Then I can work on the rest of my Hall of Fame stats. So that being said, I'm going to go Rams 30, Cincinnati 21.
I'm gonna pick the opposite, E, because this is the first time in a long time I'm picking the underdog. Because I always pick the dude Tom Brady. He never was the underdog in any of them. Definitely, for one of my boy Jason standpoints, man. And we
Whoa. Hold up. What did you just call, dude?
who?
What did you say? Rewind that. You called that guy what?
Who?
Burrow. What did you just call him?
Oh, Joe Burrow.
Yeah, what did you just call him?
What did I call him? E?
Did you just call that dude the new Tom Brady?
Nah.
Oh, okay. Well, keep in mind, it's some people out here. It's people out here that is doing that now, and they.
Oh no, man, come on now, E, because you know why I wouldn't. Come on, Buck. You know I wouldn't put that on that kid, man. You know a lot of people did that before in basketball with the hero miners and all these guys there, riders, and you see what happened to them gurus, man. I wouldn't want to put them on that type of pedestal too early because. You know what, too, man? And the sad part about it is when you look at it, this can make or break him, man. Because you know some guys, when they be in the Super Bowl, man, they don't be the same. Look at Russell Wilson, man. He's not really the same after the Super Bowl. We gonna go with not only him, but look what it did to Matt Ryan, man. Sometimes when you're on the losing end, it just don't suit well with you, man. Those guys never be the same, especially Atlanta. They can't keep a lead after that, man.
They asked the GOAT himself on his podcast a couple weeks ago. When all is said and done, what games will you remember the most? And he tells you what any great player will tell you. They don't remember the wins the most. They remember them losses. So, of course, the game he definitely mentioned was that year when they went undefeated and lost to the Giants. So that game was him the most.
That was the worst one to me, E. You don't know, man. And I'm not this type of person, E, because I focus on making a paycheck, man. But I couldn't go to work those first 2 days after that, man. I was devastated, E. Fortunately for me, I was sick the first day, but the second day I was feeling okay, and I said, I'm not going back yet. It definitely was more or less not me being sick. It was more of that leaving a bad taste in my mouth, man. Undefeated season, man. They could have definitely been in the talks of the undefeated Miami team, and it would have surpassed them because they played more games.
Exactly.
But yeah, that definitely hurt me really bad. But no, I would have definitely did that to him and call him the new or the next Tom Brady.
Like I said, they mentioned that on one of the talk shows today, and your boy Shannon Sharp went off.
Because if he come up short, man, it could change him, man, because he's still a young kid, man. It's only his second year out of college, and you can't put that pressure on him.
There was another great quarterback that went to the Super Bowl in his second year. That would be one Dan Marino. What happened after that?
And that changed him too, man, because Dan ain't been the same. It was just like Dan could never get that Super Bowl win under him, man. And that was the fact that we all say that if he would at least won 2 Super Bowls, he would have probably been spoke of as one of the best of all time because it's how he played the game. You know,
he had the numbers, so yeah, most definitely.
But I'm thinking,
remember, Joe Burrow is playing in this next golden age of quarterbacks. Who's to say that they get back? Remember, you got people like Herbert. You got people like the great Patrick Mahomes. You got people like the kid in Buffalo.
Josh Allen.
That dude in Baltimore. The list goes on. Yeah.
But I still have them in the upset, man. 28-24, E.
Okay, well, Lord knows my overall betting life in the Super Bowl is not a good one. And I probably lost more money on the Super Bowl than any other type of game or situation in the history of my life. So, yeah, I'm going with LA, but I'm not putting no big money on it. However, when all is said and done, it is said that if the betting stopped tomorrow, this will be the most bet upon sporting event in the history of sports. What do you make of that, Hugh?
I definitely agree, man, because it was one team that's still playing with the house's money right now is in there, the Bengals. I figured that they'll have a good chance against the Raiders, but then when, they played the game after that, I'm like, I'm not sure, this one might be the one where they go home. And then when I seen they won that game, I said, okay, this game for sure they're going home with Kansas City, and they proved me wrong every time, man. I definitely feel like this game is going to be very excited, and it's going to determine who makes the least mistakes, man, which all Super Bowls do. But at the same time, we talked about this too as well. The the light, man. When you got those big bright lights on you, some people don't know how to react in it, man. Some people do well, some fold. So yeah, man, I'm definitely interested in seeing how this gonna play out.
And then, of course, got a comment on the Super Bowl halftime show. That
Oh
promises to
man.
be probably one of the best ones we've ever seen.
Man, you ain't lying, man. You got Dre, you got Mary J, you got M, you got Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, it's gonna be, man. I've never seen the star-studded one like that
Don't
before.
forget about Snoop. Don't forget about Snoop. And then there's been this buzz the last couple of days about this special guest that they're going to have. Who knows who might that be?
Man, it could be somebody, man, who I'm still trying to figure out, man, but we probably won't know until that day, too. So this is going to be one of the half times I'll be looking most forward to, because a lot of them I really don't care about. So, yeah, I'm definitely interested in seeing what's going to happen, man. It's going to be a good Super Bowl. And not only that, because, and then we're not putting enough emphasis on the fact that they went and defending their home field in Los Angeles. That's one thing I think about, which definitely is going to play a huge advantage. They at home. It ain't really much they need to focus or worry about. They in their comfort zone, but I hope they don't get too comfortable. Other than that, I think definitely it's going to be huge for them.
If
But
this was any other team in the National Football League, I would agree with you. But we have established throughout these weeks on the show that the Los Angeles Rams do not have the stereotypical home field advantage. Pretty much every
agree.
game they played this season at home was like an away game because more people had the opposite jerseys on than the people that were Rams fans. That
The
being
shame
said,
fans.
this is an expensive ass game, and I just do not see a lot of people from the state of Cincinnati being able to afford to come check it out. So this might be the first time
Absolutely.
all season they actually do have a home field event.
Yeah, I'm about to hit you with another audible, man. We about to go into women's sports, and I want to talk about the Los Angeles Sparks, man. We talked about it a little bit before, but do you think that by them acquiring Liz Cambridge from Las Vegas Aces, um, uh, correct me if I'm saying this young lady's name wrong, Chidity Carter?
That would be Trinity Carter, yes, the
Okay,
former guard
from
from Texas
Atlanta
A&M.
Dream. You got Jordan Canada, and you have Katie Lou Samuelson from the Storm. You got
The
all these
former
women
Utah Husky
together,
3-point specialist. Yes, basically they
and
have gone all in. This is pretty much what Brooklyn did a couple years ago when they acquired KD and your boy and everybody else, along with several people that are veterans in the league. They are saying, "Hey, this is LA. We done won championships before. Let's do it again." So yeah, I like the moves they made.
I think because of the fact that they went 12-22 last year, that was like un-LA ish, and then definitely it was a spit in the face that we had that discussion too, that they lost Candace Parker, and she went home to Chicago and won a championship. Man, I think that left a bad taste in their mouth, and I felt like they wanted to stack it all up together, man. I think this is what the Lakers was trying to do, and they
Mm.
probably might not succeed. But I definitely feel like they're trying to run it back with all these ladies, man, because it's a talented team, talented backcourt. You got a lot of players on here that could give them the energy they need. Because 12-22 doesn't seem like it fits for that, Sparks team. And I'm definitely interested in seeing what's going to happen. But you already still know who the favorite is, man, and that's Phoenix Mercury.
Absolutely. Bottom
Let's
line,
get it.
you got at least three Hall of Famers on that squad. I mean, not only just Hall of Famers, but first ballot Hall of Famers at that. Quick update: my UConn Lady Huskies, because I got to keep track of them. They are currently losing to the Villanova
Hmm.
Wildcats at this point. 29-22 is still in the middle of the second period, but it's rare that UConn is not without a lead against most teams in the Big East. So the fact that they are losing at the moment is interesting. They only have played six players tonight, and unfortunately, one of them was not the one and only Great Paige Beckers. Shout out to her and that tremendous money deal she made with Cash App. making her one of the highest paid college athletes, period, male or female.
On the million door, E. You know, I read that article. She knocking on the $1 million in endorsements because I
Actually,
know
she's
she
now
got cash
over
out.
$1 million. But see, the
That's the
sad
thing.
part about it, Hugh, you just talked about Liz Cambage, who now is one of the top 5 highest paid players in the WNBA. Guess what? Paige Beckers is going to make more money than her this year.
That don't make no sense, man. They got to definitely do something about the money and getting those ladies together over there in the WNBA, man. I think that's a mockery to the game, and they got to do better, man, on that end. I know your girl Paige Becker. She had the. I know the Cash App. I read that one just recently. I know she had the Gatorade. What's the other one? E.
There's a third deal she has. I don't recall exactly what company is, but it is a rather lucrative deal as well. Um, that is Paige Beckers, the lady we are speaking of, the 20-year-old from Minnesota, the next great thing in women's basketball. Basically, what it boils down to, Hugh, is she made enough money to where yesterday she posted on her Instagram account that she bought every player on her team some brand new gym shoes as a
I
thank you. And they all had their own favorite colors and favorite brands of shoes and all of that. I thought it was a very thoughtful gift.
How you feel about too? Not trying to cut you off. That she's actually where her Cash App is putting money where her mouth is, man. You know how people talk to talk, but they're not going to walk it when they talk about certain things like social injustice. I really thought that was big too, man, because her being so young to already be adapted to something like that, and then putting her money where her mouth is, and just basically not turning the naked eye about what's going on in these United States. So we've talked about that. I know you talked about it on your shows, man. It was like a lot of things are
Mm-hmm.
trying to distract us from the real issues in America. But yeah, just definitely proud of her, and to see that that's something that she's trying to do right now. That was huge.
Like I said, in the end, she's going to be the new face of the league. The league is in very good hands. I am very impressed with her, not only as a basketball player, but as a young woman as well. I not only follow her in terms of the games, but I also follow her Instagram page and some of the other things that people say about her. She appears to be the very genuine article. There's not too many people that have any bad things to say about Paige Becker, so that's a good thing.
We're gonna stay on that, E. We about to jump to old girl from the Lady Huskies, Ozzy Flood, man, dropping those 7 threes in the game and the victory recently over the Lady Vols, man. How do you feel about that, man? She had 25 points, 9 to 16 shooting that game.
Well, keep in mind tonight, not doing quite as good early on. She's got 7 points on 3 for 4 shooting, just 1 3-pointer at the moment. But that being said, it comes as no surprise to me. One, as you know, I keep up with UConn Lady Huskies and basically the top 10 or 20 prospective athletes in women's college basketball every year anyway. With that being said, she was highly touted. Even when Paige Beckers came out last year, they were already recruiting AZ Flood to come to UConn as well. So that being said, they always had this thought in mind that they would pair the two of them together and they would be your version of insert your two
Flag.
shooting guard, basically the UConn version of the Splash Brothers. Let's put it that way. They both are not only good at handling the basketball, but they are both also very good shooters of the basketball on the run and set shot. So that being said, it could be real interesting if Paige comes back and she is 100% healthy right around tournament time, and both of them get hot. They could go on a run and take them straight to the championship, baby.
Yeah, because that's a good thing about college hoops and college sports in general, man. You don't need to win 7 game series. You can get hot at the right time and just win that one game, and you moving on to the next round. That's what makes it so exciting, man. That's why I think a lot of us love the March Madness when it comes down to it, because man, a 23 ranked team could be the one team, man. If you have a bad game, you're out. And I love the Cinderella teams, man. A lot of times I don't be going with them because they mess up my brackets, but those Cinderella teams definitely make it worth what it is. And when it comes to like the
Absolutely.
sports. All right, you showed me
And
this
since
one right here, man.
hold on, since we talk about the women, let me give y'all a quick assessment of the rankings this week. At number 10, you got Baylor. Number 9, Iowa State. Number 8, my UConn Huskies. Number 7, Indiana University. Number 6, Arizona. Number 5, North Carolina State. Number 4, the University of Michigan. 20-2 this year. Very impressive. Number 3, Louisville. Number 2, the Stanford Cardinal. And number 1 for yet another week, the South Carolina team that is 21-1.
Well deserved, but that's good that we climbed up 3 slots, man. Well, you know what? I believe that last game that was played, the last few games that was played, helped us boost us into the number 4. But it was all good, but then it's a little bad into it. But then at the same time, I'm not really tripping about that because at the end of the day, we're going to talk about the young lady who gave us a thrash, and she was like a one-man gang, the young chick from Iowa, Caitlin
It ain't
Clark.
just Michigan she done gave a thrashing lately. She is by far the hottest basketball player in college right now, male or female. She is
impressive.
Her name's Caitlin Clark. For those of you who don't know her, if you don't know, you need to get to know her because her range alone is outstanding.
Yeah, when she shot that Stephen Curry 3 from the logo, man, that caught me off guard. And not only that was one of her highlights, but to have 46 points for 14 to 29 shooting was incredible, man. That girl couldn't miss anything. She looked like Steph Curry out there, man. And anything she was shooting, really, it was just going in, man. Like she just basically.
And it wasn't like you see your typical ladies shot or the set. No, she shot the basketball from half to away through the logo. And it went straight in. Basically, when you see Steph get hot like that, that's what it was like that night when they played Michigan. And
yeah, because she was unstoppable, man.
In the second half, mind you.
I was just happy that the fact that we pulled that game off of it. That just shows the determination and just how gritty and good the Michigan the Lady Wolverines are, man. Because it ended up being closer than when I won it, but still it was like 98-90. But at the end of the day, Michigan held on and they pulled out that win. We always talk about players like that, man. Yeah, she scored to 46 points, but at the same time, in a losing effort, yeah, we still respect it. But when they win, it's more respected because a lot of times we talk about players and you'll be like, well, Hugh, you know, for instance, James Harden, you know, he had like 50 points. Did they win? No, it's just like a letdown, you know. So yeah, it was like, yeah, she did well, but she came up short at the end, and that kind of hurt the credibility. But then I'm still gonna give that lady her props from just the way she played at 46 in college, man. I don't know too many people drop points like that, man. So yeah, big ups to Caitlin Clark, man, and I was impressed with that, man, and that was definitely a game to be seen.
Absolutely. That was definitely one of the better women's games I saw this year for sure.
Man, one of the things I've seen today, E, and I laughed at before I found out the bad news about Jeremy Giambi. Right now, the LA Lakers are very determined, and they're even getting more frustration with the teammates and players to try to ship off Russell Westbrook right now.
Do I got a couple minutes on that one, Hugh? Can I get a
yes,
couple
sir.
minutes?
Please.
I watched the game of the week last Saturday between the Knicks and the Lakers. For those of you who did not watch, basically the first quarter, the Knicks were on fire, okay? That dude that they traded to New York, you remember that guy? Mr. Randall? He had something to prove that night, and he went to work. And whatever he didn't have, your boy RJ Barrett had his back. RJ went off that first quarter. It looked like they were about to blow them out by 50. And the thing was, at that point, you had Westbrook in the starting lineup, and he looked lost, y'all. He did not look like he belonged as a starting point guard on anybody's NBA squad. I could not, for the life of me, understand what was wrong with him. His shots were like not even close to going in. That whole night, he finished like 1 of 11, I believe, from the field. Got most of his shots from the free throw line. He's not even that great a free throw shooter these days. It's definitely something going on in the psyche of Russell Westbrook. Understand, he was never no tremendous shooter from the perimeter, but now it's like he can't hit a good set shot to save his life. And it got to the point in that game where he was taking it to the hole and missing those shots. If not for a determined LeBron James, a very stout Antonio Davis that game, and your boy Malik Monk, who basically showed up and showed out that night. Something was said to Malik on that New York Knicks bench early in the game, because from that point on, he was lighting them up, and every time he hit one, he was over there talking to their bench, okay? He was all in their grill. So I don't know what they said early on, but they pissed Malik off. And he went to work. But if not for that, they would have lost that game because Westbrook was a non-factor, and even more so again last night. Something wrong with him.
That man Monk was a huge asset to that team, man. And luckily that his gameplay has been helping out and not leaving a stain that Russell Westbrook has been portraying on that team right now. But I feel like right now they were saying that they're mounting frustration. They're trying to hurry up and try to get a trade partner and ship him out of LA. And
It ain't gonna happen. He ain't going nowhere.
Wall Dame come up in the conversation. They should have thought of that before they made this deal because just think about it, the national divorces he had on other teams. When he was with the Thunder and then he left, he went to the Rockets, it didn't work out. And everywhere it seemed like he went. Washington didn't work out. It's like, I don't know what it is, man. It's like he's that, if you want to put it in a male perspective, that beautiful girl that you want to go out with. And when you find out and when you finally go with her, you be like, man, no wonder she can't keep a strong and steady relationship. You get to see who that person is up close in person and you really understand who they are, and then you start to have your regrets. But this is the regret I feel like the Los Angeles Lakers made, and they're going to have to lie in that bed, man, because there ain't going to be no partners in this, and nobody's going to really want Russ back.
It's about to cost Frank Vogel his job. In the end, the only reason they made this deal in the first place didn't have nothing to do with organization. It was to appease their head honcho, the person really running the Lakers right now, the GM, the power forward, the point guard, LeBron James. Okay,
LBJ, yep.
That is why Westbrook is with the Lakers. Otherwise, they would have went with a couple other deals that they were trying to work out. They were saying that early on they were trying to work out a deal with Portland. We all know about that. We heard about that in the offseason. And Dame was ready to leave Portland and come to LA, him being an Oakland kid. There was one point in time where they talked about trying to get Klay Thompson. We all know about that one. Basically, the Chris Paul situation came up at some point. Bottom line, any of these players that I just mentioned would be a much better fit right now than Westbrook. Remember, in the end, the Lakers don't need a point guard. They got one. His name is LeBron James. In the end, in order to play point guard for the Lakers or any other team with LeBron James, you need to be more two guard than point guard. That's why him and Kyrie worked out so well. Because in the end, Kyrie could be the two guard when LeBron was on the floor and scoring buckets. But then when LeBron took his rest, he could take over at point guard and they don't miss a beat. When LeBron is not on the floor right now, especially when LeBron and Antonio Davis not on the floor, and you leave it to Russ plays one-man game, and he ain't got it like that no more, y'all.
No, and you know what? I was just about to ask you that, E, man. I'm glad you mentioned that. I definitely believe the reason why he's not playing at the high level he used to because he lost a step or two, man. And then I think he still feel like he still have it. We seen at one point the passing of the torch when LeBron went to Miami Heat and D Wade still wanted to play his style of basketball, and it didn't work. And that's why that first year they didn't win the championship. D Wade had to get off his high horse to swallow his pride and say, okay, LeBron, man, you the man, this is your team, do you. And that's when you start to see the chemistry and them start to win championships. But as far as my man's Russ, I just think that not only did he lose a step, but man, he don't even really focus on his fundamentals. Like his perimeter game ain't even good, man. And the layups and just him just basically doing the basics he can't even do right now. And I think it's a lot because of the pressure of being at home and the pressure of trying to be the guy to fit in and help them win the championship. Because you already know they had championship status, man. It's like we go to the finals and win a championship or bust. and it's more of a bust right now than them even getting close to a championship. And a lot of it's to blame on Russ. But at the same time, I feel like you said, man, when LeBron James wanted to get him over there and pushing that so hard, now you got what you wanted. And now you feel like, well, man, it's not what I wanted after all. Ain't nothing y'all can do about it. They're going to have to swallow that L and figure out what they can do. And until then, they just better try to improve with him on the team.
There's only two things I could truly suggest at this point. One, you take the ultimate L and say, Russ, look, you know we can't trade you, but we're going to buy you out, and good luck out there. And go from there. Because bottom line is they got enough people on that team to make up. Because in the end, when the fourth quarter comes now, Russ ain't on the floor no way. So you might as well play Bradley or Thornton and Horton or one of those guys at the point guard and just see what y'all can make up round-wise in these next 30 games to hopefully get out of that situation where you have to do the play-in game. But all that being said, the only other option is you have that one desperate team that said, you know what? We think Russ got one more good spurt in him. We'll go ahead and take him off your hands, but you're going to take this garbage, that garbage, this garbage. And I know such a team that will probably think about doing that. Two of them, actually. One of them we already talked about, you and I personally. That would be the Indiana Pacers, who clearly are in fire sale mode. They are trying to start Indiana's version of the process over there. And the other team, unfortunately, is our Detroit Pistons. Because at this point, outside of Cade Cunningham, I think everybody is dealable. Everybody.
Agreed. I want to talk about too. How did you feel as far as, do you feel like the Detroit Pistons were looking too high? I can't be upset with the Pistons for reaching that high in a way, in a sense that the fact that they had Jeremy Grant, but what they were saying, did you hear what they wanted for Jeremy Grant?
Last I heard, they want at least a first round pick and somebody comparable to take his spot in the meantime.
Now they said they wanted 2 first-round picks, and when that being said, I don't think teams is ready to bite, and that's why he's
and
at
that's
stake.
basically saying we don't want to trade him.
The crazy part about it is that building up to you as frustration right now, E, because it's like, we know we're not going to go anywhere. Why would they try to keep a person when we could try to at least get a first-round pick or get some assets and to build up the team? And just let this guy go somewhere where he can at least compete. Very talented kid, man. And I just feel like they should give him an opportunity to compete, man. It's like they keeping him and holding him hostage and dangling the carrot over teams and saying, hey, here we go. If you want him, okay, fine. But you got to do this to get him. And they know they didn't want to trade him in the first place, but, man, they should give that man an opportunity to go somewhere where he can at least win or compete now.
I say we get Jeremy Grant trading for Brown straight up to Boston. Straight up. No chaser. No other picks, no nothing. Straight 1-1 deal.
That definitely wouldn't be bad.
That gives Cade Cunningham somebody to feed and work off of, and then they can build the rest of the roster from there.
That's all they would need too, man. I just feel like at this point, it's like the Pistons wasting his time and he's wasting their time being over there.
Right. I mean, because bottom line, Jeremy Grant only like 27, 28, so he still got some years ahead of him.
All right, E-Man, I want to get to this commercial break, and I want to talk more about like the trade deadlines and who you think some of the winners and losers are when it comes to the trade deadline.
Bottom line, there's only one deal that I really feel we need to truly get into, because several of the talking heads are saying the deal is in the works. They just got to tweak out a few things, and then if that deal happens, it's a whole new ball game, people. So that being said, hopefully Hugh will mention that. If not, I definitely will when we come back from this commercial break. This is Gametime Audible with the one and only sports guru Hugh Lee. I am E-Buck running the boards and co-hosting and whatnot. When we come on back, we're going to talk some more NBA trade deadline, y'all. Here we go.
This is Get Off My Lawn Live. Join us as we talk trending topics, world and local issues and the conversations that we need to talk about as people. Get Off My Lawn Live is a Nighthawk Network presentation. Have you been scrolling Facebook and looking for that quick sports fix? Want a quick peek of what's going on in the latest sports news? Check out Pure to the Game sports blog with the sports guru, Hugh Lee. He'll get you together. Check it out. Follow it on Facebook. Make sure you like it.
Behind the Blue Curtain, Saturdays at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Viewer discretion is advised.
We're not asking for your permission. We're not seeking your approval. We're claiming what's ours in the name of our ancestors. We are their answered prayers. This is more than a movement. This is a revolution. Black innocence. What are yours today?
The views and or opinions expressed here on Gametime Audible is that of the host and or guests, and does not necessarily reflect those of the Nighthawk Network or its affiliates. Viewer and listening discretion is advised.
All right, y'all, we are back. Gametime Audible. Me and the one and only sports guru, Hugh Lee, talking NBA draft, NBA trade deadline, which is tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Continue on, Hugh. What you got?
Man, I'm hoping to get a little bit more entertaining, but it was a few trades and things that came on. It was a sneaky one that I remember putting on the page, and I forgot about it until we were discussing that yesterday. And that was one of the first things that happened, man. It was like under the radar, and it happened like last Friday. Robert Covington and Norman Powell from the Trailblazers going to the Clippers in exchange for Eric Bledsoe, Justice Winslow, and Keon Johnson in Detroit's 2025 second-round pick.
So Detroit got a deal in there too, huh?
Yep.
Interesting. I'm sitting here looking at this. Apparently, there was another trade made by Portland today. Three-way trade between them, the Utah Jazz, and the San Antonio Spurs, apparently.
Yeah, it was some really collective trades, man. A lot of them were low-key. It wasn't really nothing big like I expected. But we kind of figured they was going to blow up that Indiana Pacers team, which they did. And
they clearly have blown up the Portland team because right now, yes. I think outside of Dame Dollar and Nurkic, pretty much everybody else on that team is somewhere else now.
Yeah. That reminds me of when they went and did the reboot the first time, man, when LaMarcus Aldridge, Nicholas Batum and all those guys disappeared from the team, leaving Dame by himself to try to get the team back up and running. And I think that happened when he got that really lucrative contract. Well, it was like $100 million contract, and they couldn't afford to keep all the other players. So that's when they start shipping and moving players and trying to go into rebuild mode.
Yeah, well, that being said, I don't see any other major deals on the horizon except for this one. This is the one that, and when I've been listening and checking all the different shows this morning, they all were talking about it. They're basically saying that for the most part, in principle, it may very well be a done deal. They just need to add a couple people to make the numbers work. But according to some of the talking heads, they feel like by this time tomorrow, your boy Ben Simmons will be in Brooklyn, and the man James Harden will be in Philadelphia, and some other third or even fourth team will be involved somewhere in the mix. Now, here's the thing. I think the winner in this could very well be Philadelphia, and that they get Harden, and assuming that Harden will suddenly come to life like he seems to do anytime he wants to get traded, and the fact that Philly is playing very well even without him, to add his 30 and 10 and 6 or whatever it may be to whatever already is a very good offense could be amazing for them and put them right there with the Bucks. But the curious thing is, what exactly are the Nets getting with that man, Ben Simmons? We know he has not played all year officially, but we all heard the stories about the pickup games and him working on certain things. What if he actually has heeded the advice of many of the talking heads and say, look, just work on the doggone jumper, boy, so that when he gets there to the Nets, he now has that as part of his repertoire. Remember, they do not need him to be the point guard at all. They have, of course, the great Kyrie Irving, even though he still has the restriction from not playing in New York. But, of course, according to how the mask mandates and everything has been going lately across the country, I think that may not be a problem for much longer for him, as they probably will kill the mask mandate in New York in another month or two, and that way he can play full time. But also remember, they have one Patty Mills that plays point guard when he is not available. So that being said, if you could just put Ben right there in the middle to primarily work on defense and take it to the hole every now and then and lock up the Giannis's and the Embiids of the world, because won't that be a very interesting matchup when they play each other? This could actually be a much better deal for the Brooklyn Nets, assuming, of course, Ben has actually worked on his game.
I agree with you at the standpoint, too, is because of the fact that Ben's a hell of a defender. People don't give him credit on that, man. He's a great defender. He's a good ball distributor when they need. When Kyrie's not around, he could definitely fill in at that role whenever they're not in New York. And at the same time, if he just work on his jumper and get a perimeter game, we're not talking about shooting threes. We don't want you to be a three-point specialist. Just work on a perimeter game, man, of where if you're open and you got a good look at the rim that you can shoot a basket without being afraid or trying to pass the ball off when you're open and you're available. I think that'd be a definite.
Hell, Hugh. Even JaVale McGee hit a three the other night. Come on, now. It's doable. I mean, I just need him to at least be later year Dennis Rodman. You remember in the later years of Dennis Rodman, he occasionally would step out and shoot the three and hit a few.
He would definitely hit a three on you. But we've seen games where that dude had 20 points, 20 rebounds, and he did some impressive things. Just get you a perimeter shot, man, because as far as him being a point guard, man, he does well at that, man. And he's a good defender with his length. Like you said, he can, check Giannis or Embiid or some of the bigger guys too. That'd be great for them, man, because they're missing that.
But the one thing that I really needed him to work on more than anything, because he does also have the ability to take it to the rack, is his free throw shooting. If he could at least get that to 80%, that would make him just as lethal as anything else.
The jumper doesn't even really need to be criticized right now. If he can just get to the rack and shoot the free throws without being afraid, man, when he's all alone on that line, man, it just seems like he's a different person, man. And
right.
But
think about how much more dangerous Philly becomes if you got Harden and he has one of them nights where he working you out on the outside, and then Embiid decides to be the big man for real that game and dominate the post with all those Olajuwon type moves in his repertoire. But then there's those nights when Harden may not be hitting. So at that point, he becomes just pure point guard and just keeps feeding the beast. Not to mention Tobias Harris, that does not get enough credit.
I was just about to say that.
So you put them three together, it could get real interesting there in Philly.
Then you could put Steph Curry in there when he cooking. You know, he can cook something. You know, I think that'd be a good deal, man, because, you know, a lot of people don't give credit to James Harden as being a good point guard, man. He distributes the ball and he do what he have to do when necessary, man. He don't take over or he don't shoot all game. Everybody gets involved when he play, and he shoot the shots when necessary. But I think that'd be good for both parties, man. Give them a fresh start because I know definitely Ben need that start. But at the same time, we've been hearing the rumors that come trade deadline that, you know, Harden wanted out, you know. And I think it's a lot of frustration to do with Kyrie and what's going on in the chemistry.
I think that's exactly why he wants out. I don't think him and KD have no issue. I think it's that dude that's the problem.
Yeah, and that's just making too much of it's making everything complicated. You knew what the stipulation was and what was going on from the get-go, and you decided against it. And that just kind of a lot of people still feel like he bailed on the team when he made his decision. And that's been the biggest issue the whole year. That's always been discussed.
Yep, and I definitely want to shout out our guy Pride Hunter, who probably is at work right now. Otherwise, he definitely would be chiming in, seeing we talking about some of his favorite players and favorite teams. Of course, I definitely at that point would mention your boy Blake Griffin, still over there with the Nets. Just the thought of him just drives my guy Pride crazy.
And Blake, man, he's definitely a contributor, man. He don't do all the crazy high flying stuff he did before, but he's been really good on defense. His 3-point improved, and man, he's definitely been a good contributor, man. He contributed more than he did when he was with us. So, you know, that should tell you something. But yeah, I definitely feel like the switcheroo with those guys would be perfect, man. I wouldn't even try to put in no first or second round and nothing stupid, no picks. Just easily trade them guys, man, and go on with your lives, man, because that's what happened before. I believe they got Ben Simmons stuck over there, man, because remember, they was trying to get King ransoms from teams. And after that, I will see if he had a strong playoff performance where they went ahead and beat Atlanta or went to the championship. But it was like him and how he froze and how he just collapsed in the playoff. Man, nobody was going to try to trade all the pieces for him. Is he crazy? They know better than
that. Two teams that I definitely will keep an eye on tomorrow as well to see if they do any moves. One would, of course, be the Golden State Warriors. If they can get a nice big man to go with the rest of what they got going over there, it could get really interesting. And of course, everybody's been sleeping on this team, but y'all better start paying attention. Beware of the Grizzlies. Beware of the Grizzlies. They are for real. Ja Morant is an MVP candidate. No doubt. And Jackson, that dude, you got to look out for him. You got Brooks over there. They got a nice, hungry young squad. Beware of the Grizzlies, y'all. They coming. They ranked number 3 in the West right now. They coming.
How many games over 500 are they right now? 12?
About 15 or 16, actually.
That's crazy, man. I just like Ja because of the leader and how he's not afraid, man. There's no fear in his game. No. And you got to give credit to those other pieces over there too, man. We were keeping an eye out on them last year, man, because, of course, you know, Golden State didn't have Clay and they were missing pieces. But at the same time, when you've seen what they did and how they wasn't afraid of Golden State, they just took their game to them. That definitely made me start to keep an eye out on them and say, oh, man, the Grizzlies, man, if they could keep that young nucleus together. And my scariest thing right now is the fact that I would like for them to stay together. But you know, teams going to be trying to go after them guys and give them big dollars, man, to leave that team and go to a more marketable place. But
I
if
mean,
they can
bottom
keep
line, that's why Memphis got to handle biz while they cooking. Because there
yeah,
is
they
no
definitely
guarantee
need
you
to.
keep Ja Morant. Because you already know one of the first places that's going to want to bring him in when that contract time comes is the Knicks. Because the Knicks still ain't where they need to be. You throw him in with Randall and the RJ Barrett and Cam Reddish once he gets back healthy, that's a nice looking little squad a couple years from down the line.
You heard about the Thaddeus Young situation. I was hearing teams like Atlanta and the Phoenix Suns was interested in trying to snag and put Thaddeus Young on their team.
And let me also mention this while we're on the subject. Has anybody seen Zion? Where the hell is Zion?
Man,
I think him and Wendy Williams hanging out right now because ain't nobody seen either one of them, and I don't know how long.
what was funny to me, E2, is when they made that trade, which I'm about to get on in a minute. I was surprised to see what happened when I seen all the people on the team and I seen the addition, which I'm about to go into right now. The Pelicans and Blazers reached an agreement. Of course, by now everybody knows CJ McCollum's over there. Larry Nance Jr., Tony Snell, they was headed to New Orleans for the deal. With Didi Labuda going to the Portland. But what surprised me in the whole ordeal was the fact that when they did get CJ McCollum, I said, man, I thought that he would have went to more of a competitor. So that kind of shocked me that they put him over there for Pelicans. It damn near seemed like a punishment.
Bottom line, that's a salary dump move, plain and simple. At that point, they wasn't caring about CJ's feelings. They like, he'll get over it. We trade him to whoever gonna give us the most stuff.
And when I seen it, I said, man, okay, now they got they had a big three where they had Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, and Zion. And I'm still like what you said, like he on the milk carton, man. It's a question mark. He's MIA, man. It's like, is he even gonna play this year? While they hyping up a big three over there, they need to focus on to get over 500, which they're still 10, 11 games under.
And remember, the whole rumor has it is that Zion don't even want to play for them no more. And that's why he BSing around. So don't be surprised if you see that dude getting moved during the off season.
Did you hear about the Raptors? They were in talks about acquiring Danilo Gallinari. And the framework was saying my man's Goran Dragic, $9.4 million expiring contract to Atlanta.
Bottom line is that dude, Gallinari, he get around. He'd been on about 6, 7 teams now, haven't he?
Yeah, because he first started off with the Knicks, didn't he?
I do believe that is the case. I think he spent some time in Dallas. I want to say he played with
Denver.
New Orleans for a minute. I know he played for OKC.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say he played in Sacramento or some team like that. I'm drawing a blank on it. It's somewhere along the line.
I think it was Denver.
Denver. I think he's in Denver for a minute, actually.
He balled when he was with OKC, though, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, surprised, man, because I liked him in Atlanta, man. I thought that was a good fit, and I thought that he was going to be a fixture and he was going to stay there because he was like the veteran presence that they needed. But, yeah, man, they shipping him as soon as possible.
Right. If anything, I think that'd be a good move for the Pistons to trade Grant down to the Hawks and try to get Gallinari and something else, one of them picks perhaps. Gallinari
would be good over here, man. I think just because, they already know that he's going to be moved or he's going to be a moving fixture, man, anyway.
Exactly.
But just for his presence, man, I think that'd be good.
I agree.
How do you feel about, did I tell you, it was one of the things that I was discussing, Bradley Beal, man, being out for the season, man. How did that make you feel, man? I definitely thought he would possibly be on the move this year. Even though they put pieces around him, I still felt like they were going to try to get rid of him on his contract. But then when that happened, I was actually like, man, it's starting to seem like his youth And not only that, it seemed like he gonna start missing a step in a minute, man, because he's injured more than anything right now.
I mean, bottom line, he's starting to make me feel like players from the past, like Tim Hardaway and Chris Mullin, players that basically kind of got there to a degree, but never quite got over that hump. A lot of their good years just wasted in the league, not getting the proper pieces put with them so they could get to that next level. I think in the end, you'll have those NBA heads be like, yeah, I know Bradley Beal. I remember that dude. But in the end, he ain't win nothing. So,
hey, check this out, bro. Remember I told you Larry Nance Jr. was in the trade, right? Going with the Pelicans deal. Why is this dude injured, man? They saying that he need knee surgery now.
oh, wow. Now, the question is, one, did they know that?
You know what? That's a good question, E, because I'm like now thinking that deal might be void, man. I don't know what's gonna happen with that. Because when you already know when you get them injured players, because remember, Bol supposed to came to the Pistons, man, and then when we found out about his injury, they ended up not doing anything with that, man, and then he ended up getting shipped off to another team. But yeah, those deals be void, man, when a player has some type of sustained injury or anything.
Absolutely. Ask the Detroit Pistons about that. Remember when they recently traded for Bol, but nixed the deal when he didn't pass the appropriate physicals and what have you.
Yeah, I want to kind of look into some of these live games. The main live.
That's actually what I'm looking at too right now.
I thought that was actually interesting, man. This Chicago Bulls Hornets game is going to be very exciting, man. I know we'll still have a little time to check that out because it's still only in the first quarter. The first quarter just ended. 28-29 Hornets right now. That's another exciting team, man, that I feel like they should try to at least get a veteran on here, which I'm saying the Charlotte Hornets, to try to help them out, man. Even if he's not a starter, just somebody who can come off the bench and who can get us some energy.
I agree. Of course, you know I'm checking on my UConn Lady Huskies. They are still down 10 in the third now.
They down still?
Yeah. Interesting enough, they've only played 6 players tonight. AZ Flood has 13 at the basically shooting 5 for 10, 2 for 4, 3-point land. But clearly something ain't right there at UConn this evening.
Yeah, man. The Spurs Cavaliers, man, you know, they ain't really no game because Cavaliers is up 57-48. That's a really good team too. They got all those first round picks first and foremost with Sexton, and they had some really good pickups over there, man. And I was definitely interested, and I think the Jared Allen thing just really took them over the top. That guy's a beast, man. I seen the game where he scored 9 of their first 15 points. And that's they going.
Like I said, I really did like that move they made to get Caris LeVert. He is definitely a good player.
Yeah, that's Hollywood, man.
He's more of a role player, but a good role player.
That's, I believe, is going to take them over the top with just like another veteran presence. He don't got to be spectacular. You could just get somebody over there, who could just go over there, play a little defense. They need that enforcer. That's what I should have said. They need an enforcer now over there in Cleveland because I feel like
I beg to differ there, Hugh. Remember, they have the number 3 pick and they drafted Evan Mobley, the center from USC, and actually tonight he has 12 points, 5 rebounds, a couple blocks. He's playing pretty good tonight.
Man, they got a dangerous squad over there, man. You know, we don't really give too much props to Ohio, but damn, you know, the Cavaliers, man, they came a long way because remember in the beginning of the year, we seen that they were teetering around 4 or 5 games over 500, and I laughed to see how long this going to last. Man, they laughing at me now, man.
Right now, they are 4th in the Central. No, actually, they're 4th in the East right now. They are 33-21 overall. They just a couple games behind the Bucks.
Mm-hmm. That's very impressive, man, for that team and for where they came from.
I agree.
I ain't gonna talk about the top.
That's another deal that I think will probably be made sometime tomorrow. By the way, them trading Kevin Love, since he doesn't seem to really be a factor for that team anymore.
Not at all, man. It's like he don't even exist. I forgot he was over there one day until he came off the bench.
Exactly.
Yeah, did you hear about the rumors that the Boston Celtics were, well, not even the Boston Celtics. I know the Timberwolves have an eye out and they were scoping one of the players over there. I don't know if this is going to happen unless they give them a decent trade return or give them like a first round pick. But yeah, they're eyeing Marcus Smart. What's your thoughts?
Well,
What's your thoughts of that?
I'd be happy for Marcus Smart because clearly he don't seem happy playing with Boston these days. He is not liking his teammates, and especially since he came out with that statement early on in the year. I'm pretty sure it gets kind of interested in that locker room some nights since then.
Yeah, because he basically came out and said, man, you know, it's two alpha males on the team and they want to keep their hands on the ball. And everybody knows that the ball is going to go to them, but yet they still shoot it and they do more than what they should when they have the ball. They do not want to pass the ball.
Particularly to each other. It's very rare. I think they had that statistic where they looked at how many times Brown actually passes to Tatum and vice versa. And it's a very small percentage, especially when you consider that they oftentimes play together on the floor.
They're like 6 games or so over 500 right now, too, man. But the thing is, how long that's going to last? Because they teetered on 500 for so long, and at the same time, they've been playing really bad competition in the East, like the Orlando Magics. They played the Nets when James Harden didn't play. I think this is going to be like his 4th game where he's sitting right now, James Harden. Mm-hmm. So it ain't like they've been really playing high caliber teams. You know, they might have sprinkled in one team that was decent that they beat, but it wasn't like they really beat a lot of teams where I was impressed. They just so happened to play a lot of weak competition in the East. Like they played like that one night that I seen that they played the Thunder and they played teams that's not really on Boston's level. But at the same time, I just don't know what it is over there. I don't know if they're going to try to get any trade pieces or anything or any capital. But I just don't feel like, and we talked about that before, man. I think they just need to go ahead, try to trade off some assets. Like you said, everybody's tradable except for Jason Tatum.
I would agree with that, yeah.
That's some stance I would make right now. I see that the Lakers playing the Trailblazers. I don't really know what to say or what to expect of that game. But the Trailblazers,
you should be thinking nothing but the Lakers going to win by 20. Bottom line, they can't beat the Trailblazers, and you got a team that's not even a team at this point because there's so many new pieces in town that ain't played with each other. How do you lose that game? Remember, Dame Dollar is not even healthy at this point.
Mm-hmm.
That should be a straight up blowout.
The game of the night I'm interested in, and I'm going to definitely keep an eye out on, is that Warriors-Utah Jazz game in Utah.
That's the one we need to be talking about.
Yes, sir. You know, I just like Rudy Gobert, but, man, he's definitely a hell of a defender. But you got all those guys over there, man, and I'm just interested to seeing what Donovan Mitchell going to do as well.
Well, you'll have to wait on that because I do believe Donovan is out this game.
It's not looking too good for them, man. It's more or less like because they had them as a 1.5 point favorite. Now I'm thinking it's going to be more or less. I'm leaning towards 7.5 favorite with Warriors. Is Clay out today too? Because I thought they were saying that he was going to be out.
I don't know about Clay, but I'm thinking that actually Draymond is still out, so that might be a factor also.
Yeah, got a point there.
That might basically even them up, truthfully.
Did you see the one and who do you think the winner of this one, E? We talked about this one as well when you was asking that you wanted to know what was going on with the trades and what happened already. Demontis Sabonis, Jeremy Lamb, and Justin Holiday to Sacramento Kings for exchange for Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hills, and Tristan Thompson. And Sacramento also will receive a 2023 pick, second round pick that can go from 31 or either 55.
I think trading Buddy Hill is going to come back to haunt them. That's what I think about now. That's the one part of that deal I wouldn't have added to it.
I think that was a stupid deal, man, on that part, man, you dealing him away.
Because I don't think they properly utilized Buddy Hill to begin with. to be
Do you
honest.
think that was a money dump on Sacramento, or more like the
Absolutely.
pay?
Absolutely. They in process mode too. No doubt in my
Hey,
mind about
yeah,
that one.
because I feel like Demonis Sabonis, man, we all felt like he was going to be going and he was going to be on the move. Jeremy Lamb and Justin Holiday, I just think they just kind of threw them in. But on the Buddy Hills was a really good one. I don't really know. I'm not really too sure about Tristan Thomas. I don't know too much about Tyrese Halliburton. But yeah, I still feel like more or less this all came down to being a Buddy Hills and Sabonis trade, man, one for the other. And that's all I thought that was going on. And I think that what would surprise me though was Sacramento also received the second round pick though out of it, and it's a 2023, and it's a high second round pick.
Yeah, like I said, I think when all is said and done, them trading Buddy Hill is gonna be the part of that deal that comes back to haunt them. We actually got a couple comments here, Hugh. Hold on now.
What's up, Coach V?
Coach V in the building. What's going on, Coach? Good to hear from you, sir.
I was just surprised how quiet it is right now today, man, because you thought they would have shuffled a couple of people and got a couple of pieces done, man.
I really did think we have more going on trade deadline this year, everything considered. A lot of teams being on the edge or the verge of being in that third, fourth, fifth seed, but we still got pretty much a whole 16 hours or so to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, because you know who else I thought had been on the move, man, because maybe not eat because they paid him a pretty good contract, but at the same time, a team would eat the contract and they'll love it, man. In this case, they would probably think that some of that contract was delicious, depending on what they need. Like John Collins, man. I thought that, remember, he was a huge name last year. I wasn't even too much aware of him at the time because we didn't see a lot of Atlanta games. I didn't know too much about what Atlanta had over there until we looked at the playoffs and we seen how good this guy was, man. And this guy was well advertised. I know the Boston Celtics wanted him. I know they looking at that as a regret now because I think that really would have helped them. But
Atlanta would be crazy to trade him now.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
He is the recipient of a lot of those assists from your boy Ice Trey.
Yeah. I wanted to know, because Evan Fournier, man, that's a guy who just never seemed like he stayed put neither, man. I thought that Toronto or one of those other teams would probably try to make a run that'll go after him. So I was a little surprised with that. And the whole thing with Harrison Barnes, man, it's like he's standing still right now. Do they feel like he's the answer for, the Kings? Because usually
bottom line, Harrison Barnes is still a decent scorer. You get about 18 or 20 on a good night from him. It's just he's stuck in Sacramento. Basically, it's certain teams in the league, you there, and you basically disappear. The Sacramento, the Indianas, the Pistons of the world.
Yeah, he's just going to have to sit there and love it, man, and figure out what he's going to do there. Because right now, I just felt like that more things would have been done. But like you said, man, we still got a lot of time. And definitely in tomorrow, man. And I'll definitely be looking in on that because I know I'm working a short day at the job. So I'll definitely be keeping you posted, whatever goes on. Definitely if it's something worth mentioning.
Well, already know, y'all, that if you're looking to see what's good tomorrow in regards to the trade deadline or anything else, he will tell y'all what y'all need to do.
Go to Pure to the Game, man. I'm going to definitely put up everything. There's basically newsworthy to put up with some of these trades of what's going on in NFL, not the NFL, NBA trade deadline. I'm hoping it's going to heat up, man, because it seemed like last year was a little stiff and it didn't really get too much to the point where it gained momentum until like close to the very last part of the trade deadline. So I'm just hoping it'd be some type of momentum this year, man, because I'm just surprised that, like you said, like the Boston Celtics of the world and some of the teams who need players to help them try to get over the top and to move on to some of these second rounds. Miami Heat, man, they've been very quiet, man. And I just thought a lot more teams would be more aggressive right now, trying to get some players, man. And I want to know what they're going to do now since the Indiana Pacers blew up their squad. Are they going to keep or are they going to move on for Miles Turner? They might as well try to get something for him while they still have a chance.
Like I said, I think it'll be a few minor deals made tomorrow, but I think the key deal is to see if indeed they go ahead and trade Harden for Simmons. Beyond that, I don't think it's going to be a lot of big deals made. We are talking to Russell Westbrook, but unless somebody really, really want him, I don't see him going nowhere.
It's going to be some sneaky deals too, man, and I'm definitely interested in seeing what's going to happen there. I don't want to put too much into football too, man, but I wanted to know, did you hear about Lovie Smith coming back to the league? He was going over to the Houston Texans. Do you think that that's something? I definitely should have talked about that earlier, but I just thought about it just now. Do you think that's something that just basically saying, oh, at least we did hire a black coach and a lot of this, do you think that's the cover up right there?
Yes.
Man, you had to look
what
at
they
that.
broadcast the deal as. Lovie Smith has 2 years in Houston, flat out. If they are not in playoff contention in 2 years, he'll be fired. Plain and simple.
And that's like they always put them on that loose, situation. Man, they always had them like on the tightrope, man, when it comes to black, guys who are coaches. Because Steve Wilkes, I was surprised now that they said that he was actually going out for a job. Of course, it ain't a coaching job. It's like he's going to be on somebody's team, but it's going to be as the cornerback coach. It's not going to be nothing like he's going to be out there coaching again, which I felt like, and I understand that Cliff Kingsbury was what they wanted over there to lure in Kyler Murray. But damn, when you only give a guy 1 year, that was like a huge slap in the face. But Eli, we've talked about before, I don't want to get too deep into that because what I look at is when it comes to them, man, the people who all make money at the top is not going to allow that change. So we just need to pick and choose our battles when it comes to that situation.
Yep. Meanwhile, the upset alert continues. It looks like UConn about to take that L tonight, y'all. They are now down 65-47, which is very rare because they have one of the best home records in the last 20 years of any school, period, male or female. So the fact that they are losing by this large margin at home, not to mention this will be the first time since they rejoined the Big East that they have lost to a Big East opponent. They have won over 100 plus games in the Big East. So this will be a major upset.
In NBA action still, man, Cleveland handling the San Antonio Spurs, man. They up by like 21 points now.
I honestly think this is the beginning of the end for the Spurs. They're going to have a lot of bad nights the rest of the year. And I think when all is said and done, they're going to give Pop the option, but basically kind of push him to go ahead and step aside.
Yeah, because we talked about that previously last week, and he's not adapting to what's going on today, and he has to get with the program. I don't think that he's going to adapt to the point to where he's not going to let them make him change what he does, but I think that's going to be the beginning of his demise in San Antonio.
The league that passed him by, bro.
Yeah, and I think that he had his good runs when he had the Tony Parkers, Manu Ginobili's, Tim Duncans, and those guys that was on that team. And now I think that in the beginning of his demise was the whole situation and how he handled Kawhi Leonard, man. But that dude now, it just seems like he can't stay healthy. Right now, he's still out, man. And they're saying that it's a possibility. Well, they're saying that Paul George will be back, but they don't think he'll be back this season. And that's why a lot of those trades are being made to try to accommodate with the points and things that they need because they know that they're missing him in action.
Exactly.
And that's the crazy part too, Ian. I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm not trying to point the finger at Pop. I really felt like Pop didn't handle it well when the whole situation happened and it kind of blew up in San Antonio. I thought he got kind of real nasty when they talked about it, and he was like, well, don't talk to me about it. Talk to, provide his people. I thought that, it was kind of Bush League. He should have just kept it quiet rather than getting into that and getting involved in that stuff, man, because I still feel like that's one of the reasons why that man Kawhi is not the same today, even though he sat out and he felt like he did what was right, but when it seemed like he came back, yeah, he wasn't the same after that injury, but he did sit out and he did what he was supposed to do or did what he felt was right to get back healthy, and it still seemed like it didn't work.
Sad situation.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with that guy and how he's going to actually handle and portray that situation.
Agreed.
Trying to see what's going on or if anything else happening right now as far as the NBA rumors. That wasn't really nothing that I seen that interests me. Yeah, the one thing I did see too, Ian, we talked about briefly was the Celtics definitely are still trying to shop Dennis Schroeder, man. Right now they're saying that they can definitely use a complimentary point guard. I think he's going to be more like a role player point guard. They were saying that Bucks, Cavaliers, and the Mavericks are actually interested in his services, though.
The Lakers were stupid for not trying to get him to stay. Because if he was there right now, that solves the issue. Bottom line, Russell, you need to go and sit down for a while. We don't know what's going on with you, but we're going to give you some time to figure it out. In the meanwhile, Dennis, you're on.
Because I feel like a lot of people were interested in getting Josh Richardson too, but I think Josh Richardson plays pretty well over there in Boston. That's somebody who I definitely feel like they should keep, but like a Peyton Pritchard could be a good asset too, man. And I just feel like right now when it comes to them developing players over there in Boston, man, I just still feel like they need just one. No, actually, I feel bad saying that. I do like my man, Enes Kanter. I just don't think he should be over there in Boston. And we keep forgetting about Al Horford, man. That guy's like on a milk carton, man. He's never around, and we don't even really discuss him enough. It seemed like when he came back to Boston, he was a shell of himself by that time, man. I just think he wasn't a good fit with Philly, and it showed. And a lot of pressure was on that man, and I feel like it was bad because he's not that type of player. He's more of a contributor or more like a role player. But for them to put that type of pressure on him in Philly, man, I think that him coming back to Boston was going to be a feel-good story. But I just still feel like something's missing. It's a void with him. And like you said, with the two alpha males over there, they're not even listening to him and what he needs to do as the presence of being their veteran leader.
I feel like he just finishing out the string, just like your boy over there in LA, Dwight Howard, just finishing out the string. I still can play a little bit. I can still make a little money. Why not?
I was trying to see what players are still available to and people who was interested in, but it's not really, like you said, nothing really going on as spectacular as we thought it was going to be. There's some good things that's going on, but I still don't feel like it's enough right now until teams start to get desperate tomorrow. But I still feel like a team that can do something right now too is I definitely interested in seeing, like you said, what the Golden State Warriors are going to do. Injuries to Draymond Green, I don't think that's going to be permanent. But the scary thing is, too, is I would try to deal Looney, man, and try to get something there. But, yeah, Weissman's out still, man. So I think that they still got Looney for depth, man. I don't really like Looney, and I don't even think he's that great of a player. But I think they definitely need to try to get something over there. So something still is not there, and it's a really bench play. I can't even say the starting lineup because they got a strong starting lineup. It's just their bench. They need some type of person over there who could take over. Yeah, they got Gary Payton Jr. I like that, and they still got guys over there who can contribute. But when Poole in the game, man, Poole reminds me of like how Monk is playing too for the Los Angeles Lakers. I just still feel like it's something that's missing, man. I don't know what it is, but I think it's like a bench presence, man. Somebody who can go over there. And I'm not even saying that he needs to actually be a scorer, but somebody who could be like a veteran leader who can lead the league like a point guard. I just think they're missing something on the bench.
I just think they need another big man. Al Horford would be a good fit there, to be honest.
You know what? Damn, E. I was just talking about Al and how he needs to go and get a change of scenery. And that'd probably be good for him, man, because I think with him and Draymond Green, they respect each other, man, enough to where they can have a good chemistry over there, man. And his leadership, man, damn. I would like to see that move because I just feel like it was a feel-good story that I don't think that he's going to stay over there in Boston right now. But yeah, that'll definitely help out too, just in case of when Draymond Green get banged up, man. They won't miss a beat with Al Horford in the game. I think that'll be a smart pickup. I actually like that decision. I just want to know where Miles Turner gonna go, man. I'm so excited to see where that dude gonna go. How would you feel about if Miles Turner went to and I just thought about this, man, over there with the Hornets?
I don't think that'd be a good move for you.
I think more like the defensive end because they don't really need to.
The Hornets sit right now. If I'm them, I'm not making no moves right now. I'm gonna work with what we got. I think they're doing a better job of just growing from within, drafting players, getting some small free agents. I say they keep rolling that way.
Yeah, because they got a good squad over there, man. I like Miles Bridges. I think that's one of the best feel-good stories of them, man. Paying that guy and seeing what he's doing over there. He's happy over there, man. How do you feel about just basically what Michael Jordan have over there? And because at first when he got the team, we was thinking, okay, it's Michael Jordan. You know, he got money, and what is he going to do? Is he going to actually help elevate a team or make it to the point where they're championship caliber? And yes, he did. He did both things. It's not only
bottom line, in the East. I think if they put in a little bit more work, they can get in that 4 to 6 range, and from that point on, grow from there. But in the end, we pretty much know at this point who's going to make the playoffs, who's going to be right about there. Outside of a couple major moves that might possibly happen, I don't think we get much change in it.
I definitely want to see what they do and how far they'll go in the playoffs. Because you know what they remind me of? They remind me of the East Coast Memphis Grizzlies, man. In a nutshell, they just basically two exciting teams, explosive. They got good guys on there, good young guys, the future of the NBA. And it's just exciting to see them, the way they play the game with the young youth and energy.
Agreed. They do play a good, interesting style of basketball, particularly when they play a team like themselves that's kind of young and run and gun.
If you had a chance to put Zion on the team right now and get him out of New Orleans, what do you think would be a fit for him to go right now, or just to go and give him at least some type of energy or something that can help revive this dude's career?
I can't answer that until we find out that Zion is fully committed to keeping his weight under control, because clearly that is what's causing a lot of these injuries that he's having. We all had that concern with him coming into the league. He is basically putting our worst nightmares in play. Until he comes back at a good, healthy 260, 255, somewhere along them lines, I don't think it matters where you put him.
Do you think that he could be, if he have like a season where he don't come back and then he struggle with his weight or be injured next season. One of the biggest first number one overall picks draft busts in history.
Not one of the biggest, the biggest. You remember all the hype that came with Zion. You remember the Nike commercials and all of that.
Don't be acting brand new. That's your boy.
Bottom line, if he don't get it together by end of next year, he will be by far the biggest number one flop ever.
And I know that's kind of a spit in your face too, man, because I know you a Dookie fan. And the excitement and what him and RJ Barrett brought to the table, man, they beat my Tar Heels. And, you know, I wasn't too happy about that. But this is really surprising, man, to see how he just flopped, man. And I just feel like when you making that type of money and you get in the NBA, man, you should definitely focus on. That's what I don't understand. To have that opportunity to be in the NBA and to play on that high caliber with the best talent in the world, to not try to stay in shape and keep yourself up, man, to make that type of money and make a career for yourself, man, you playing and you doing the game that you love, man. That's a job that you love to do. Not only that, but you're playing and you're doing something that, you know, man, I would love to do. I want to work a 9 to 5 every day, going in there, man, not knowing, you know, how my managers act or the attitude or how the repercussions if I did something to make them uncomfortable, to piss them off or show them up. You can go to a sport and you can play the game you love and get paid a lot of money for it, man. And I understand you got to stay in shape. You got to do everything it takes. But I think it'll be easier for me to do something like that and be able to maintain than to go to a 9 to 5 and have to deal with some of the stuff that you deal with. And I just feel like I don't understand how some of these guys just don't have the mentality a la Zion Williamson to go out there and to go and do your job, man, and be fit and be ready to go out there and do what you need to do and do what it takes to make that type of money and play on that big of a stage, man. It's just like a mockery. It's a joke to me.
Bottom line, all these people, they're not just themselves. They're a corporation. So in the end, it's not just about them. It's about all the people they surround themselves with. Who knows who's in Zion's ear from day to day saying, go on, eat that gumbo. It's cool. Or you ain't the problem. New Orleans is the problem. Just ride the wave until your contract is up and then go to your new team and show out. Who knows what they're telling this guy? But clearly it's not working to his advantage right now.
He need to hurry up and do something, E, man, because you know what, man, he definitely easily eat himself out of the NBA, man, a la Eddie Lacy.
A la Big Baby, Oliver Miller, it's several people.
Names of talented players, man, who just couldn't keep their weight down, man, and that's why they're out of the league. I hope he don't be that statistic. I hope that he could definitely get it together, whether it's in New Orleans or somewhere else. But right now, it's just not looking too good for that man. And I wish him the best, man. Ain't nothing else I can say about it, but just hope that he can get himself under wraps and do better than what he's been doing, because I think it'll be exciting for the NBA, because you know when that guy's in shape, man, he got the quickest releases. He can shoot the ball and he can cover. Man, his rebound recovery is so impressive. I've never seen a guy that big who can shoot and still be right there within a second to grab his own rebound. Most times before you blink, he already grabbing the rebound, man. It's agility to dunk. I definitely hope that he focus a little bit more on the perimeter game and do a little bit more of that nature. But I just still feel like he has an opportunity, man, and I hope he don't squander it.
A lot of that same skill set will play out very well in the NFL. He'd make quite an impressive tight end, don't you think?
Yeah, I definitely feel like it. I don't think that he would even need to lose a lot of weight or do a lot of that stuff, man, you know, to go over there and to play a sport like the NFL, man. I don't want to get off the topic too, but, man, I definitely want to know if you heard this rumor, man. They asked Rob Gronkowski just recently, now that my man's Tom Brady retired, if you could play with any player who would you like to play with? And he said, Joe Cool. Do you think that was him advertising himself that if he don't get back into Tampa Bay, that he'll have an opportunity of reached out there? Or do you think that's
that's just him being honest. That dude
okay?
gone. Okay, we'll see him next Royal Rumble. Don't worry.
You really think so, man? He just
He'll
said
be playing this 24/7 championship. That dude ain't about to play no more.
because he was just saying.
He played in the first place was to play with his boy Tom.
He had a couple of years out of it, man. He came back better than what I thought, man, because we all didn't think he was going to play as well that first year back. And he was just basically get back in the NFL shape. And to play how he played at the end of the season, it was impressive. And he really did good this year, man. I just think injuries always follow that dude wherever he go, man.
Facts.
On that note, man, before we wrap up, anything else you have to add on?
No, not really, y'all. Again, trade deadlines tomorrow. Let's see what happens. We still got baseball trying to work it out. Let's see what happens there. We definitely know at this point there's going to be some type of delay. We'll just have to see how long that plays out. Don't worry about the Olympics. They're terrible. They are getting some of the worst ratings in the history of Olympics, period. So it comes as no surprise to me. It's a lot of just not good going on there. And Americans ain't doing all that great anyway. So all that being said, I'm ready for Sunday. Let's play this game. Let's get these snacks going on. Let's make these bets and win this month.
He on a update on NBA. San Antonio Spurs trying to make it a game now. They were down 21. Remember I told you that. Now it's 73-84, so they only down 11. It's the beginning of the fourth quarter, so they still have a chance to try to make a full comeback. I don't see it happening. The Chicago Bulls actually turned up the heat, and they're up 13 right now at the half over the Charlotte Hornets. The Raptors Thunder, man, not really caring about that game. Yeah, I passed that, and but the game I really want to see is the West Coast game that'll be on at 10, and I want to keep my eye on that one, man. And I'll definitely begin with you on that one, the Warriors and the Jazz, because that seems like that's going to be a good one. And then when you're saying with not having the additions of Draymond Green and Donovan Mitchell, man, it's going to be pretty interesting to see what's going to happen. But I think if Clay and Steph Curry play today, man, it's going to probably be 7, at least 8-point lead, man, because I don't think that they'll be able to recover without Donovan Mitchell, because I don't even know who their backup point guard is, honestly.
Right. And update the UConn score. They're down 10 now, but they only got a minute left.
They
played 6 players tonight, and one of them was not their leading big man, Libya Nelson Ododa. So I'm definitely thinking either there was an injury situation or yet again another problem with COVID. It looked like they may have just had just enough people to play, and that is part of what happened. It's now actually 69-61. They make it interesting. AZ Fudd, by the way, to follow up her game in Tennessee, has 25 tonight. So
that's impressive.
She's
high already.
Mm-hmm.
I'll definitely look in on that one too, man, and I'll see what go on at the end. Because if they only down 9, man, they still have a chance within a minute. It's a slim chance, but hey, man, we've seen crazier things happen, a la Reggie Miller.
Right, but in the end, like I said, that would be a major upset. Even though Villanova has a winning record and all of that, it would mark the first time since they returned to the Big East that they lost to any team in the Big East, and that's stretched back some 4 years now. So that's very impressive, actually.
Do you think more or less 2 teams are catching up with them, man, like the South Carolina, Stanfords, and the other teams like the Oregons? You think that their recruiting class is getting just as strong? Or do you think because of the NIL, a lot of these teams are really starting to catch up with some of these big-name schools?
I think it's definitely more parity in the women's game right now. A lot of these people are looking at UConn and saying, hey, there's only so many people going to play at UConn. So if they got all these people and a lot of their team is still younger at this point, they're saying, I want to play. Working with Gino is great and everything, but I want to play now. So they go into some of these other schools, and that's why we got a lot more parity.
And
especially in the Big Ten. If you notice, a lot of the Big Ten teams are coming up this year.
absolutely, man. Big ups to that, man, because that's kind of where. And I believe too a lot of the cases too, because you know how we will be, man. I think that me and you more we're old school. There's a lot of people who look at the show as old school, man. We're to the point where, like, say for instance, if you got a chance to go to UConn, man, a lot of times you probably try to go to another team, spite the fact that you had that opportunity, because we always have the mentality that I don't want to be on the best team. I want to beat the best team.
Bottom line is, in the last 5 seasons, UConn has had at least 1 or 2 players from their squad transfer to other places. Just this earlier this year, they had somebody enter the portal and go to Arkansas. Another player that was a prominent player for them last year is currently playing pro in Poland for a team in Poland. So it is what it is.
Any last things you got to say, E, before we wrap it up?
No, that's pretty much it for me, y'all. Thank y'all for checking out the show as always. We appreciate you. Of course, we're going to let Hugh finish it up and talk about what y'all need to do.
Appreciate y'all for everybody who adds and join. Yeah, man, get on that Pure to the Game, man. I'm going to be on there humping my butt off tomorrow, man, when it comes to the NBA trade deadlines and any other news that you need to hear. I definitely will be putting it up on the page and just keep it alive and doing what I need to do to keep y'all satisfied. Get on there, man. If y'all have any comments or topics or things that y'all want to talk about, any things that you want to discuss, definitely hit me up. Let me know what you want done, and I do my best to try to keep you keep you up to date. Why you put that bub on the screen?
Bottom line is, that's probably going to be his face tomorrow if he actually gets traded, because think about it. This whole season, that dude ain't made no money.
That dude can elevate the Nets too, man. I don't really feel like that'd be a bad idea too, just trading them up evenly, just an even trade, because he could definitely help with the point guard when Kyrie ain't there, and then he could kind of be like a small forward or like a defensive dude, man. They can even put him at power forward. He's a big dude, man. He could check some of the bigger guys and defend them, man, because that's one thing you can't take away from him. He's a hell of a defender, man, and he's a good point guard and distributor, man. So that would definitely make him look good. I feel like he could work on his perimeter game and do a few things of that nature. He don't really need to shoot it all that much. Just focus on getting the perimeter game, and like you said, taking it to the rim. Work on the free throws, man. Give yourself a chance to give your team a chance to win a game or two. And I think that's basically all he needs to do, man. A lot of that stuff, man, like we've said before, we can't just clown him and, take shots at him all the time, because, we knew LeBron had an okay jumper, but he worked at it, and now he's great, man. I mean, he probably ain't the best three-point shooter, but then he worked on a lot of his game, and that's what we appreciate about the best and the greats, man. If you want to be considered the best, you got to work on your game. You got to execute at a high level, man. Nobody going to give that to you, man.
One thing that LeBron learned from the great Kobe Bryant is every summer you should work on some aspect of your game to add to your game. And LeBron has done that over the years. If Ben has that same mentality, hell, if Ben basically go to LeBron like, look, take me under your wing, teach me what you know so I can be better. Imagine what that could be like.
Because that's why I think Luka has been so good, man. Him and LeBron cool, man, and they kick it a lot, man. And he loved Luka's game. And, man, damn, Dallas, man, that's another team I ain't saying too much about, man. But, damn, man, Dallas been hell of a good, man. They've been really playing well together right now. They've been so low-key, but with the Tim Hardaway Juniors and Luka and just the guys who over there, man, they've been playing really good, sound basketball, man. I was disappointed in them at one point because I didn't think they were playing well. You said a lot of it had to do with his weight issues. But now that he's getting back to size, man, getting back to strength, man, and big ups to my man just keeping his mouth shut too, Kristaps Porzingis, and just playing the game, man. And they've been really playing solid, man. If I'm not mistaken, what are they in? They're like 5th or 6th seed over there right now.
That's
They've been
about
playing
right.
basketball, man, and they've been pretty excited to see as well. I definitely look forward to seeing what some of these teams going to do. And I didn't talk about them all night, and I feel bad because I feel like they're one player from helping them get a little further or deeper in the rounds of the playoffs. Just really forward to seeing what someone's going to do, because there's going to be some surprise moves, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen before the deadline. Hopefully, it'll be more exciting than what we playing, because today was kind of dead and nothing really happened. So I'm just hoping they elevate the game, kind of do some stuff before the it's 4 o'clock, right?
Yep. 4 o'clock
Yeah,
is
I hope.
Daylight Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, because I'm
But
gonna be at
hold
work.
on, y'all. Check this out. 26 seconds left. UConn's only down by 4. Oh, sookin' now.
They still got a chance. E, I'm about to turn to that. Oh, damn, Cleveland taking the game now. E is 90-76.
All right. Meanwhile, AZ Fudd now has 27 for the night.
That's her high, ain't it?
That is her career high at this point, yes.
Yeah, I'm about to look at that game, kind of see what's going on now. Yeah, they still got time, man. Get a good layup or a good three off of a miss, man, and they could get pretty interesting.
But yeah, the thing is how much energy they have left. Remember, as I said, they've only played 6 players tonight, and I'm pretty sure they're kind of tired right now.
Ozzy Fudd been really playing good, man. She been stepping her game up.
I find it real interesting that several of those players, however, are in foul trouble at the moment. AZ has no fouls, amazingly enough, but pretty much everybody else who's played has 3 or 4 right now. So if it goes to overtime, that's not to their advantage.
They need to do something, man, because Avina Westbrook got the rebound and she missed the jumper, man. I'm trying to see what happened now. Damn. Yeah, it's looking like it's probably it, E, because Villanova grabbed the ball.
Yep, we down to 13 seconds now, but yeah, they at least made it interesting.
Yeah, because they end up giving a foul, and they about to go to the free throw line. So, yeah, man, it's still enough time, E. 13 seconds, they can shoot a 3, get a rebound or get a steal and try to shoot a shot, man. And it's still close, man. Until that clock say all zeros, man, with that much time, you still got a chance to pull off something.
I mean, bottom line is they really didn't play with no big man tonight. You had Drew House who basically went 1 for 5, and Edwards went 2 for 5. Pretty much everybody else in the game is guards right now for UConn. So I believe if they lost, that's probably why. Whatever happened with their big man situation this evening is what's going to be the reason why they didn't make it.
You got to get them props for putting up a fight, though, because they was down by pretty much 10 points most of the game.
They were down 17 with about 8 minutes left in the game. So, yeah, it's a hell of an effort. You got to give them that.
That team ain't going to go without a fight, man. And that's one thing you got to know about them, man. This is hopefully when Paige Becker come back, that could give them a spark. And like you said, man, you don't have to be a number 1 seed. We've seen people who was a number 1 seeds win it all. So, yeah, that's not really important right now, man, even though it looked good on paper when they are number 1 or have the best record. But, man, all they need is to hit stride, get into rhythm, and, just have good momentum going into, like, the actual March Madness. And that's all you really need.
Right. Bottom line, remember, I believe Arizona was a 3 seed last year, and they won it all.
And it ain't like the NBA where you got to play like 7 games and stuff like that, man. It's one and you're done. So whoever had the best game or whoever come out, with that mentality to win, that's all it takes.
All right, we're now down to 2 seconds left. 71-69 UConn. But there's a foul on AZ Fudd, so I believe that ought to about do it.
Yep, that's it.
But again, you got to be impressed with this freshman, AZ Fudd. She has 29 points now. If I remember right, there's like maybe 2 or 3 freshmen in the history of UConn that scored over 30 points. So she's pretty close to that freshman record at this point.
That was a pretty good comeback story, man. Well, I think this is what they need, though, man. So they need, and then, yeah, I don't think people appreciate that more than less you, man, because you, like me, when it comes to Alabama, you used to them winning and having the number one seed and barely losing, and not losing games at all. And I know it gets frustrating for you,
This
man,
has
but you.
been a very rough season, but again, it's not all the fault of the Huskies. Bottom line,
Mhm.
COVID has hit them big time at times. The injury bug has hit them big time at times. There's only
This,
11 people currently eligible to play within the program at all at this point. We got 2 people out for the year due to injury. We had 2 people transfer. So, yeah, there's that.
they got a good upside, though, man. So, yeah, you just got to look at the future, man. I know it sucks, but at the same time, man, they got a good upside going on with that team and that organization.
I mean, bottom line, we know they always keep a good recruiting class, so
Yep.
definitely that. All righty, it is official now. Villanova has beat UConn 72-69.
That was still a close one. It got real edgy at the end, man, real chippy.
Indeed, indeed. So definitely looking to see what those highlights look like. But that being said, y'all, it is now 9:01. We have done our 2 hours and some change. I say we wrap it up, bro.
All right, yeah, man. Definitely appreciate everybody who tuned in and everybody who will be tuning in later on, man. Just thanks for the love and support, and we'll keep giving y'all what we got, man. And that's our absolute best. Thank you, and have a good night.
Absolutely, y'all. Shout out to our guy, Pastor Tillman. Hopefully your team pulls it off. I know you're going to have a lot of ish to talk if that is the case. And, of course, shout out to my good friend Amy. Cincinnati wins, you'll be able to claim your bragging rights as well. So
we definitely need to put one of them. Whoever wins, we just need to give them like a 15-minute spotlight. E, do you agree?
I say we at least should have them come in and call in, and so they can talk their ish.
At least, yes, sir.
But that being said, y'all already know there will be no Get Off My Lawn Live this weekend because, of course, it's Super Bowl Sunday, and it would just be pointless to do a show on Super Bowl Sunday. So that will be back in a couple weeks. But, of course, we will be back next Wednesday to talk what happened in the game, what happened during the trade deadline, talk about if baseball and finally got their ish together, and anything else that goes on with that NFL lawsuit and some of the other things. So until then, y'all have a good week. Remember, be safe. We still in the midst of the pandemic. Still be careful out there, y'all.
Yes, sir.
That being said, we out.
Peace.